So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Paola Garibay, and I am the Project Manager of Economic Development here with the Berwyn Development Corporation. Today, we have with us Eddy Mujica from State Farm. He will be presenting on Business Insurance 101. Thank you so much, Eddy, for being here today. I will let Eddy go ahead and tell you a little bit more about himself in a couple minutes here. So to kick us off, I'm going to give some background on the Cook County Small Business Source Program, which you may all have been familiar with or heard about this webinar through the Cook County Small Business Source. For those of you who don't know, the Cook County Small Business Source is a program that is part of Cook County with the efforts and goals to help support the small business community. And I will tell you a little bit more about how we do that next. So the three components of the Cook County Small Business Source are business advising, a library and network of resources across Cook County, and the collaboration of partners to put events together. So business advising, this can be a form of one-on-one conversations that you have with a partner that is with Cook County. They can sit down with you, give you technical assistance on any topic of your choosing. It could be marketing, business insurance, capital investment. This webinar today is a form of business advising for groups, since we have several business owners joining us. There is a total of over 30 partners across the Cook County network who are readily available with, subject matter experts to support small businesses. And events of these that we come together are great opportunities to network, connect with these business support organizations, as well as with representatives of Cook County and the state of Illinois. So through our efforts as business support organizations with Cook County, we have been able to make quite a significant impact since the launch of this program. This was, of course, intended to help businesses who were hardly hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. And we see that there is a continued need for this, even though the pandemic, has kind of calmed down a bit. We are still seeing the effects of it. So the program is going to continue to remain supporting small business owners. So far, through the Cook County Small Business Source, we have been able to reach over 10,000 small businesses in Cook County, 63% of those being businesses owned by people of color. A total of $17 million in grants, that is free money from Cook County coming back to businesses who have been impacted by COVID. And we have reached a total of over 3,800 businesses with direct one-on-one or group advising as we're doing today. The Berwyn Development Corporation is a proud business support organization with Cook County. If you see on the screen here, you'll see our logo along with a couple others that you may recognize. These are also other very well-renowned partners of Cook County, and they are similar to the Berwyn Development Corporation, here providing advising opportunities and ready to support small business owners across Cook County. So if any of you applied for the Source Grow grant, I want to give a quick update on where we're at with that. The Source Grow grant is a grant that was intended to help, again, small business owners recover from the pandemic. It is in the amount of $10,000 if you're eligible to receive it. You may have filled your application out in October, and we were told that status of awards would be announced in January. So as of now, we are still expecting that business owners can expect to hear back by the end of this month. And Cook County administrators will be reaching out to you directly by email. So one thing you can do to stay ahead of the game and make sure that you are setting yourself up for success is, if you are an LLC, you should make sure that your business is in good standing. Sole proprietors don't need a certificate of good standing, but if you are an LLC or corporation, please take the time to make sure that you are up to date with that. This may make you ineligible if you do not have a certificate of good standing for the grant. And then lastly, a couple of tech etiquette notes. As I mentioned, this meeting is being recorded, so if you don't want to be on the screen, just keep your camera off. Please keep yourselves muted so we can allow our presenter to go through the content. If you lose connection, just come back in. I will be monitoring the chat room to make sure that any new participants are joined. If you have any questions along the way, you can drop them in the chat as well. And I've already discussed with Eddy. He is more than happy to take questions along the way. So if you have something, in the moment that he's presenting, just raise your hand and we will call on you to ask your question. And with that, I will let you, Eddy, go ahead and take over the screen. Go ahead and introduce us and kick us off.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you for having me here, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eddy Mujica. I am an insurance agent here in Berwyn with State Farm Insurance. I've been in the industry now for 10 years, and I really got into the business as a risk advisor, as an insurance agent, and stayed in the business really because I really love helping my community protect what matters most to them, and that in turn helps build generational wealth for the community. So that's why I'm here. That's why I love doing what I'm doing, and now I'm doing this for a decade now. So thanks for having me. And today we're going to be going over just the basics of business insurance. It's business insurance 101. So really what it entails, what it covers, what it doesn't cover, how it can help your business, and more importantly, how it could save you money and protect what matters most to you, because that's your livelihood, right? So that's what I'm going to be going over today. But before I get started, I would love to just kind of see who's in the room. Paula and the BDC does a great job bringing us together, local business owners. So I would love to at least have an idea who's in the room with us. So if you don't mind sharing at least your name, your business or the type of business you have, and your location. And I'll go first again. Again, my name is Eddy, State Farm Insurance in Berwyn on 26th and Ridgeland. And if you don't mind, I'll like to have someone else jump in and introduce herself. Or I could call on you. That's all right.
Okay. Well, I don't mind jumping in. I'm Sharon Armstrong, and I'm a massage therapist in Deerfield. And I've been in this business now for 36 years. I also do have a side hustle as a broker for life insurance for the past 5 years.
That's great. Thanks, Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyone else? You could also put in the chat as well.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay. My name is Melissa Fuller with MTC Properties One. We are a modular construction developer located in Orland Park, Illinois.
Awesome. Thank you. And Cartina, I know you're here. Perfect. Yep. Cartina Heating is just down the street from me on 26th Street. So thanks for being here. All right, guys. So we're going to get started here. I want to kind of go first with what is business insurance. So as we go through this, especially the first couple slides, please just kind of ask yourself what kind of business you're in. I know you just shared now, but it's important so you could know exactly what kind of business insurance you need. Maybe even take a look and see, ask yourself, hey, am I missing something? Or, you know, is there something else that I could be adding or something I don't need? So we'll get started here. I'm going to share, make sure I have control here.
You got it?
I believe so. Let me just go back. All right, can everyone see that, or am I? All right. Oh, is this for full screen, or is this?
It looks like you have it in notes. So there should be a button. Maybe it's that little TV, I guess, or monitor. Try
This one?
that. Yeah, let's see. No. Display settings up top.
Display settings, let's see here.
View presenter. Click that.
There we go.
Technology.
I know. All right. Okay, yeah. So today as we go along, ask yourself what kind of business you're in. It's important because it's more important, especially when you're sharing it with your agent. They need to know exactly what you have, what kind of services you provide or products you deliver or produce or manufacture, because that's going to give you the most accurate way of how they can help you and make sure they have the right coverage. So I want to get started with what really is business insurance, right? It's basically just a way for an insurance company to make sure you have some sort of agreement or a contract saying, hey, pay your premium, right? We cover all your belongings or your business property, or even liability. That means lawsuit protection. So if anything happens to your business, we'll step in and take that risk on for you. So it's really a transfer of risk from a company to a business or a person. And it really protects your assets, your property, and your income, most importantly, because that's what matters most for most businesses. Make sure you continue to have an income. And who needs it? Really, it's everyone, even from a very small business that is operating from your home. Maybe you're, baking cookies or, baking products or other products that you sell online. Everyone from that person to, big corporation needs business insurance. And we'll kind of go over some reasons why. So as you ask yourself what kind of business you're in, these are just some of the questions because it's going to help you, especially have a business location. Building property is one of the main components of business insurance. So asking yourself, hey, do I operate from home or do I have a location, brick and mortar location that you need protected? Especially if you have a business location, it's very important to know what kind of insurance you have currently on your plan, because that's going to make a difference between, am I fully covered or am I not fully covered? And I've seen some, I've been in the industry for a decade now, so I've seen a lot of claims come in. And most of the time they're fully covered. But sometimes, if there's details left out, I want to make sure that's not the case, right? So asking yourself, where is my business located? What kind of building we're in? Are we renting? Are we leasing? Or do we own the building? More importantly, it's liability, right? So you want to make sure while you're doing business that you don't open yourself up to a lawsuit, because it's a very, this day and age, it's really easy for people to sue you. And remember, you don't have to do anything wrong for someone to sue you. Unfortunately, found that out plenty of times with customers and with businesses over the years. You really don't have to do anything wrong for someone to sue you. So make sure you're protected there. So asking yourselves, hey, where's the risk in my business, right? Do I drive a car to and from locations? Do I have employees that drive their cars for the business that use, or do I rent or lease vehicles, right? So asking yourself those, because that's going to be very important in finding out where the risks are. And more importantly, personal property. So all the products that you have, even the computers, the desks, anything you have at your location is very, very important for your agent and your insurance company to know. You'll be surprised how much personal property your business has, even though you may not think it. It's, a few desks or, a few computers could run you thousands of dollars to buy brand new, right? And with insurance, that's what really protects you, is that when something happens, let's say a fire at your office or at your business, the insurance company steps in and you either have protection for replacement cost or actual cash value. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, but just kind of have that in the back of your mind of what kind of insurance you have on your business, right? Replacement cost or actual cash value. And so again, two main coverages that most business insurance comes with is property to protect all your stuff inside your business, and then liability against lawsuits, anything that could financially hit you hard, right? And so some of the ways it can help you is obviously protecting against any lawsuits, but especially injuries. If you have customers coming in and out of your business location or your office, that could be a risk there. I've had, some customers where they had a customer slip and fall at their location, and they had, either found liable or they were at least sued to try to cover some of their medical expenses, or even more than that, right? So if there's any sort of disruption on your business, let's say there's a fire or a bad storm that might, cause power failure or utility failure, and you can't operate for a day or two, that's loss of income, right? So that's some of the ways that your business insurance can help you as well. I had a flower shop before, had their power go out for a few days, and all the plants and flowers that they had in their refrigeration system, they spoiled. And so that was thousands of dollars worth of product that they lost. So that's some of the ways that business insurance helps you and make sure that your business keeps running, or at least recover from that disruption. Now, not all insurance is created equal. So you got to make sure you know what you have. And if not, just ask yourself, hey, I need to maybe call my agents to review it and make sure I have the right coverage for my business. Replacement cost versus actual cost, or ACV, actual cost value. That's the difference between, am I going to get 100% coverage of all my personal items, right? So if there's a fire in your office, again, for example, and you have to replace all your furniture, your computers, anything that was in your office there, your insurance company will step in, and if you have replacement cost, that's going to make sure you fully get reimbursed for everything that you have to buy brand new. Actual cash value, on the other hand, pays for those items, but at a depreciated value. So that means if your desks were, 10 years old, you're probably not going to get 100% replacement value on that. So, you may only get 60% or 70%. So it's very, very important to know, because that's going to make a difference between, am I going to get all my stuff replaced or just, part of it, right? Just a fraction of it. So make sure you know your agent. If you have a great relationship with them, that's great. If not, please reach out to them, or find a new one if you don't know them very well. But it's always best a local agent, someone you could talk to, and review that. Make sure you know what you have, right? And then other coverages to consider, because not all of these plans have them. They don't come included. There's no such thing as full coverage when it comes to business insurance or any insurance for that matter. So make sure that you know if you have these other coverages which are medical payments, that helps cover other people from slip and falls, from any injuries that they might have at your location. So make sure you know if you have that. If not, you should consider something like that. Loss of income, another important one, obviously, because if there's a disruption, you want to make sure that any loss of income you have in those days or weeks, sometimes it could take months if there's a fire, that you have that loss of income protected in there as well. Ordinance and law, that's in case, let's say, for example, there is, a fire or something like that, or a storm, and the city of Berwyn or, the city of Deerfield or Orland Park come over and say, okay, hey, we're going to give you some permits to make sure you get everything fixed. But there's some items that you need to make sure that you need to put up to code again, right? Normally, the insurance company would not cover anything that's not damaged, but if the city or the local ordinance laws is requiring you to update a few items in your office or business location, that's where the ordinance and law will kick in. And then backup or sewer, of course, if you have a basement or a lower floor, or if your city or area is prone to have those sewers clogged up or overflow, and it overflows into businesses and homes, make sure you have that, because it's very important. You never know, especially now that we're having some pretty bad rainstorms in some years with some stronger storms, I should say. It's important to have that as well, or at least consider. All right. Now, for vehicles, one thing that you may or may not consider is vehicle insurance is very prone to accidents. That's where most claims happen. So you want to make sure that you ask yourself, hey, do I use my own vehicle for work, right? Am I going to and from appointments? Or, delivering products or things like that? Or do my employees use their own vehicles for work? That's very important to know and for your agent to know, because there's coverages and there's riders that you can add on to your business insurance to make sure those are covered. At least with State Farm, you cover a range of different vehicles, from private passenger vehicles, regular cars, to box trucks and refrigerated utility trucks. So just ask yourself what kind of vehicles you're using for business, and are my employees using them as well? Because with that, the coverages that those include also are the liability coverage in case of a lawsuit. You may not know, but if your employee is driving around in a work vehicle or their own vehicle, and it's during business hours or doing business work, or business related, tasks, that could open you up for a lawsuit, because technically they're on the clock, they're working for you at the time, and you want to make sure that your insurance will cover that in case something like that happens as well. Another important factor or coverage, especially for your business, if you don't have right now and you should consider, is a commercial liability umbrella or a club. It's, other companies call it different, umbrella, but for the sake of this, this slide here, it's an umbrella that basically covers your entire business, from any vehicles that you might have to your business activities that have at your location, right? So it really encompasses and it covers everything that you might be doing around your business. So and really this, how it works, just to give you an example, is if, let's say, there's a vehicle that either you or one of your employees drives, and God forbid they were to get into a bad accident and they were to injure someone, or unfortunately someone passes away in that accident, that's, grounds for a lawsuit, and sometimes a pretty big one. So if there's a lawsuit out there, and you're liable for, let's say, $500,000, but your policy only covers, let's say, 100,000 for the car policy. Well, that difference there, that a lot of times goes against yourself on your business. And if you don't have anything that, like an umbrella that could cover that, you might be liable for that, right? So this is where the liability umbrella policy comes in. If something like that happens in your car policy, the limits there is not enough to cover that. $1 million at the least is where it starts, $1 million, and there's increments of 1 million on an umbrella policy. So that 1 million that you have will kick in and make sure that the rest of that difference there is covered, right? So that covers bodily injury in case someone gets hurt, passes away, or any sort of property damage. If yourself or one of your employees were to hit a house or a garage or another business, I've seen that before. That you want to make sure that's covered, and you don't have to worry about whether it's $10,000 worth of damage or $500,000 worth of damage, or a lawsuit, right? Workers' compensation really is it's something that unfortunately not all businesses have, believe that they need, especially if they're a small business with only a few employees. By law, Illinois requires you to have workers' compensation. There's a penalty. There are fines. I believe the last time I checked, they're $500 a day if you're found to be knowingly not carrying workers' compensation for your workers, up to 10,000. And if they find that you knowingly went without for a while, it could be also a class 4 felony. The last time I checked. So, we already pay taxes. to the state. We don't want to pay any more fines to them. So we want to make sure that if you have any employees, even a part-time employee, you're required by law to have workers' comp for that employee, right? So make sure if you don't have that right now, please consider that as soon as possible. Make sure your workers are protected, because it's not only going to protect yourself, but also your employees, right? So if they get hurt on the job, this helps protect them against any injuries, medical treatment, and loss of wages as well. And then other, liability policies that State Farm offers and other companies may offer as well are employee practices, right? So if you have several employees and there's, wrongful termination or discrimination that comes up, or at least a question, that could open up your business for, a lawsuit. So the employee practices liability policy helps protect against that, right? Because your normal base insurance policy is not going to protect against that. It's only really for injuries or, disruptions in your business, things like that. But this other type of policy will help protect you against any sort of, disagreement or discrimination lawsuit.
Eddie, before you move on to the next slide, there was a question in the chat. I think it may have been answered slightly, but if you could just confirm. So the question is, if the employee is driving a company car, will it reduce the risk, or I'm sorry, will it reduce the possibility of a lawsuit?
Oh, good question. So, Melissa, the answer is no. If it's a company car and they're on company time, it's first going to fall on the car insurance policy itself, right? But if there's not enough coverage there, it could always fall back on the business or the business owner. So good question, because we've had that before as well. And yes, first it falls on the car policy, but it doesn't mean that the driver of that car is going to be fully liable, because it's their company time. It could fall on the business as well. Great question. All right, we'll move on here. Something very important that I always like to go over, and this is kind of my favorite part, because as a small business owner myself, I want to make sure that, we're doing this for our families, right? You want to make sure that your business continues no matter what happens. If there's, a fire or something else terrible that happens to the business, you want to make sure that keeps going. But also, what is your legacy, right? What legacy you want to leave? If this is a family-owned business, especially, and you want to leave this to, to your kids or a family member that also wants to take over the business after you retire, after you pass away, this is something that could help you do that. And it's key person's insurance, especially, but group life as well. That's something that State Farm offers and other companies as well. But really it protects, first of all, it protects your employees. It's a benefit that you give your employees when it comes to group life insurance. So if anything happens to any of your employees, this is a great way for your business to give them an extra benefit. It's 100% tax deductible on your business because it's a business related expense. And it helps reduce turnover for your business. So if you don't have group life insurance right now for your employees and yourself, owners and directors and officers could also be included in this group life policy. It's a very great tool and great benefit to give your staff. It helps reduce turnover, so your employees stay with you longer. And as we know, as small business owners, especially me finding out, hiring your people and training, it takes time and it costs money, right? So the less turnover you have, the more money you have to save and more you could invest in your business. So that's one thing that group life does, but also it helps you on the other side when it comes to taxes, because it's tax deductible. It reduces that, helps you with your taxes basically. But key person insurance, it's another part that if, let's say, a owner or a co-owner, especially if there's multiple people in the business, like partners, it's a great way to have a contract or an agreement saying, hey, if one of us passes away, will keep the business going, and the life insurance that this provides will be able to buy out the other person, right? So in that example, if let's say, the surviving partner needs to buy out the other family's, part of the business, that's where this key person insurance will come in. That life insurance that gets paid is already pre-agreed or predetermined that money is going to be able to buy out the other person's shares and keep the business going. Because unfortunately, when someone passes away, especially in a partnership, it could turn into a turmoil and, with family kind of fighting and seeing who takes over what. So it's very important to at least have that in the back of your mind. If you don't have something set up already to keep the business going, those are some options there that you could do. And I'll answer here your question here in just a second here, Christina. But I want to make sure that this is clear, because the key person insurance, it's a legal contract, so you do have to talk to a lawyer to get that set up. And the insurance company only provides the life insurance or the funds to that. They fund it for that, right? So, but the question that came in is, if someone runs a business from their house, does that interfere with home insurance? Oh, good question. So the answer is yes, it can. So if they, let's say, for example, have they produce some items at home and they sell them on Etsy, right? If it's small enough, your homeowner's insurance can cover some of that. It's a rider called, business from home or incidental business from home. So it's important to talk to your agent, because there are some riders that you add on your homeowner's insurance to cover some of that liability. But really, even with that, you should have your own business insurance as well, because the homeowner's insurance only covers a small part of that, right? And usually does not cover a lot when it comes to your inventory, your products they have in there. The homeowner's insurance may only provide $1,000 maybe, but if you have a lot more than that, that's when you should consider the business insurance on top of that as well. Plus, the business insurance is going to protect you against any liability lawsuits, right? So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, good question. Okay, guys. So that's really it. I mean, most of the basic things that we covered for insurance, and how it could help. I hope this kind of at least opened the discussion. Maybe you could talk to your agent, make sure that you know who that person is. If you don't, please reach out to them, or I'm always here to help. I'm here to be a resource for everyone. So if you have any questions now, you could ask them. And I'll keep Amelia here in the chat. But it's important to know your insurance agent, because if anything happens, or if you even have a question, you want to make sure you're able to reach out to them before anything happens as well. But any questions at all on anything that we went over?
Eddy, there was a slide that you had close to the beginning. I didn't catch it. It had liabilities and on the left, and I don't remember what was on the right. What were you talking about then?
Yeah, let's see here. In the beginning, right?
Yes. Just before that. Oh, property. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So your business location, structures, personal property, equipment, things like that. So just something to think about. I mean, some examples, obviously, if there's, especially during the winter, frozen pipes, right, could cause water damage to inside your office or things like that. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have a quick question, please. Does State Farm offer bond insurance for construction companies?
We do, yeah. So if there's any, it depends on obviously the city or the municipality. There's different kinds of coverage, but yes, we do. Yeah, for the most part, we do. So construction, even for contractors especially. I'm assuming you're talking about like a surety bond?
Yes,
Yes, yes, we do.
thank you.
All right. Go back to the slide here. Any other questions or anything else that I could answer for you?
Yes, let's, if anyone has any questions, we've got the expert on the line, so the time is definitely now.
And here's my information as well. So please, don't be afraid to reach out. I'm here to be a resource. So if you could text our office, call us, ask for me. Anyone on my team can help you as well. We specialize in small business insurance as a small business owner myself. Or you could just email me as well. Check out our website. But yeah, I'm here to help in any way I can, be a resource.
Thank you, Eddy. And I will be sharing the recording of this meeting along with Eddy Mujica State Farm information and a recap with all of you. So if you don't have any questions now, maybe something comes up or you want to reach out about services, I will make sure to share that information so that you can connect with Eddy and his team. All right. But if we don't have anything else, then it looks like we are going to give everyone back 20 minutes of their day. Thank you again, Eddy, for presenting today on business insurance, and thank you to all those who took the time to attend this webinar.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you, Sharon.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Stop it.